In our last interaction, we discussed about various mechanisms of antimicrobial resistance and some examples of it. Now, we will discuss about some more examples of antibiotic resistance and some organisms that are resistant to antibiotics. We will also discuss about various techniques for containing resistance. Aminoglycosides include a group of drugs which are characterized by the presence of an amino cyclitol ring linked to amino sugars in their structure and have a broad spectrum of activity against bacteria. Examples of these drugs include streptomycin, kanamycin, gentamicin, tobramycin and amikacin, which are commonly used in the treatment of infections by both gram-negative and gram-positive organisms. Their bactericidal activity is attributed to the irreversible binding to the ribosomes, but effects that result from interaction with other cellular structures and metabolic processes are also known. Resistance to aminoglycosides such as gentamicin, tobramycin, amikacin and streptomycin is widespread. More than 50 aminoglycoside modifying enzymes are known. Most of the genes associated with enzyme modification are found in gram-negative bacteria. Depending on their type of modification, these enzymes are classified as aminoglycoside acetyl transferases AAC, aminoglycoside adenyl transferases also named aminoglycoside nucleotidal transferases ANT and aminoglycoside phosphotransferases APH. Aminoglycosides modified at amino groups by AAC enzyme or at hydroxyl groups by ANT or APH enzymes lose their ribosome binding ability and thus no longer inhibit protein synthesis. Besides, aminoglycoside modifying enzymes, efflux system and rRNA mutations have also been described. The first quinolone with antibacterial activity, nalidixic acid, was discovered in 1962 during the process of synthesis and purification of chloroquine, an anti-malarial drug. Since then, several derivatives have been made available on the market, with the most important ones being fluoroquinolones, which contain a substitution of a fluorine atom at position 6 of the quinolone molecule. This greatly enhanced their activity against gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria as well as anaerobes. These agents exert their antibacterial effects by inhibition of certain bacterial topoisomerase enzymes, namely DNA gyrase, bacterial topoisomerase II and topoisomerase IV. These essential bacterial enzymes alter the topology of double-stranded DNA (dsDNA) within the cell. DNA gyrase and topoisomerase IV are heterotetrameric proteins composed of two subunits, subunit A and subunit B. Mechanisms of bacterial resistance to quinolones fall into two principal categories: alternations in drug target enzymes and alternations that limit the permeability of the drug to the target. The target enzymes are most commonly altered in domains near the enzyme active sites and in some cases reduced drug binding affinity. In gram-negative organisms, DNA gyrase seems to be the primary target for all quinolones. In gram-positive organisms, topoisomerase IV or DNA gyrase is the primary target depending on the fluoroquinolones used. In almost all instances, amino acid substitutions within the quinolone resistance determining region QRDR involve the replacement of a hydroxyl group with a bulky hydrophobic residue. Mutations in GYRA induce changes in the binding site conformation and or charge that may be important for quinolone DNA gyrase interaction. Changes in the cell envelope of gram-negative bacteria, particularly in the outer membrane, have been associated with decreased uptake and increased resistance to fluoroquinolones. This has not been demonstrated in gram-positive bacteria. Macrolide, lincosamide and streptogramine antibiotics, also called MLS antibiotics, are chemically distinct inhibitors of bacterial protein synthesis. Intrinsic resistance to MLSB, including streptogramine B antibiotics in gram-negative bacilli, is due to low permeability of the outer membrane to these hydrophobic compounds. Three different mechanisms of acquired MLS resistance have been found in gram-positive bacteria. These include post-transcriptional modifications of the 23S rRNA by the adenine N6 methyltransferase, which alters a site in 23S rRNA common to the binding of MLSB antibiotics, which also confers cross resistance to MLSB antibiotics, MLSB resistant phenotype, and remains the most frequent mechanism of resistance. In general, genes encoding these methylases have been designated ERM, erythromycin ribosome methylation. Efflux proteins which pump these antibiotics out of the cell or the cellular membrane, keeping intracellular concentrations low and the ribosomes free from antibiotic. These have become more frequent in gram-positive populations and often coded for by MEF, MSR and VGA genes. Hydrolytic enzymes which hydrolyze streptogramine B or modify the antibiotic by adding an acetyl group, acetyltransferases to streptogramine A, have also been described, and these confer resistance to structurally related drugs. Glycopeptides comprise peptide antibiotics of clinical interest such as vancomycin and teicoplanin. Their antimicrobial activity is due to binding to D-alanine side chains of peptidoglycan or its precursors, thereby preventing cross-linking of the peptidoglycan chain. Thus, they are largely effective against gram-positive microorganisms which poses a bigger layer of peptidoglycan. Although not all gram-positive organisms are susceptible to these agents. High level resistance to vancomycin is encoded by the VANA gene that results in the production of VANA, a novel DLA ligase resulting in the rebuilding of the peptidoglycan side chain to express D-alanine D-lactate type, which has less affinity for glycopeptides. There are also other proteins in this gene cluster that are necessary for resistance, including VON-H and VON-X as well as VON-B, which confers moderate levels of resistance to vancomycin and susceptibility to teicoplanin. Vancomycin gained clinical importance because it was traditionally reserved as a last resort treatment for resistant infection, especially of methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus MRSA. The emergence of vancomycin resistant organisms has deprived the usefulness of this drug. Resistance in sulfonamides is commonly mediated by alternative drug resistance forms of dihydropteroid synthase DHPS. Sulfonamide resistance in gram-negative bacilli generally arises from the acquisition of either of the two genes SUL1 and SUL2, encoding forms of dihydropteroid synthase that are not inhibited by the drug. The SUL1 gene is normally found linked to other resistant genes in class 1 integrons, while SUL2 is usually located on some non-conjugative plasmids or large transmissible multi-resistant plasmids. Trimethoprim is an analog of dihydrofolic acid, an essential component in the synthesis of amino acid and nucleotides that competitively inhibits the enzyme dihydrofolate reductase DHFR. Trimethoprim resistance is caused by a number of mechanisms, including overproduction of the host DHFR, mutations in the structural gene for DHFR, and acquisition of a gene DFR encoding a resistant DHFR enzyme, which is the most resistant mechanism in clinical isolates. At least 15 DHFR enzyme types are known based on their properties and sequence homology. Multi-drug resistance among many organisms has become a great challenge to infectious disease management. It is increasingly being reported in bacteria and is often mediated by genetic mobile elements such as plasmids, transposons and integrons. Integrons are mobile DNA elements with the ability to capture genes, notably those encoding antibiotic resistance by site specific recombination, and they have integrase gene INT, a nearby recombination site ATT1 and a promoter PANT. Integrons seem to have a major role in the spread of multi-drug resistance in gram-negative bacteria, but integrons in gram-positive bacteria have also been described. Class 1 integrons are often associated with the sulfonamide resistance gene SUL1 and are the most common integrons. Class 2 integrons are associated with TN7. The majority of genes encode antibiotic disinfectant resistance, including resistance to aminoglycosides, penicillins, cephalosporins, trimethoprim, tetracycline, erythromycin and chloramphenicol. Staphylococcus aureus. Staphylococcus aureus, colloquially known as Staph aureus or a staph infection, is one of the major resistant pathogen found on the mucous membranes and the human skin of around a third of the population. It is extremely adaptable to antibiotic pressure. It was one of the earliest bacteria in which penicillin resistance was found in 1947, just 4 years after the drug started being mass produced. Methicillin was then the antibiotic of choice, but has since been replaced by oxacillin due to the significant kidney toxicity. Streptococcus, Streptococcus pyogen, group A Streptococcus GAS infections can usually be treated with many different antibiotics. Strains of Streptococcus pyogenes resistant to macrolide antibiotics have emerged. Resistance of Streptococcus pneumoniae to penicillin and other beta-lactams is increasing worldwide. Enterococcus, multi-drug resistant Enterococcus faecalis and Enterococcus faecium are associated with nosocomial infections. Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is a highly prevalent opportunistic pathogen. One of the most worrisome characteristics of Pseudomonas aeruginosa is its low antibiotic susceptibility, which is attributable to a concerted action of multi-drug efflux pumps with chromosomally encoded antibiotic resistant gene, example MEX-AB, OPRM, MEX-XY, and the low permeability of the bacterial cellular envelopes. Clostridium difficile. Clostridium difficile is a nosocomial pathogen that causes diarrheal disease worldwide. Clostridium difficile colitis is most strongly associated with fluoroquinolones, cephalosporins, carbapenems, and clindamycin. Some research suggests that the overuse of antibiotics is producing the resistant strains. Untreatable infections of carbapenem resistant Enterobacteriaceae (CRE) were increasing among patients in medical facilities. CRE are resistant to nearly all available antibiotics. Almost half of hospital patients who get bloodstream CRE infections die from the infection. Acinetobacter is a gram-negative bacteria that causes pneumonia or bloodstream infections in critically ill patients. Multi-drug resistant Acinetobacter have become very resistant to antibiotics. Campylobacter causes diarrhea, often bloody, fever, and abdominal cramps. Serious complications such as temporary paralysis can also occur. Physicians rely on ciprofloxacin and azithromycin for treating patients with severe disease, although Campylobacter is showing resistance to these antibiotics. Salmonella and Escherichia coli. Infection with Escherichia coli and Salmonella can result from the consumption of contaminated food and water. Both of these bacteria are well known for causing nosocomial hospital-linked infections, and often these strains found in hospitals are antibiotic resistant due to adaptations to widespread antibiotic use. Since 1993, some strains of Escherichia coli have become resistant to multiple types of fluoroquinolone antibiotics. Klebsiella pneumoniae. Klebsiella pneumoniae carbapenemase KPC producing bacteria are a group of emerging high drug resistant gram-negative bacilli causing infections associated with significant morbidity and mortality, whose incidence is rapidly increasing. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is increasing across the globe, especially in developing countries over the past few years. TB resistant to antibiotics is called MDR TB or multi-drug resistant TB. Globally, MDR TB causes 1,50,000 deaths annually. Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Neisseria gonorrhoeae is a sexually transmitted pathogen that causes gonorrhea, a sexually transmitted disease. Neisseria gonorrhoeae has a high affinity for horizontal gene transfer, and as a result, the existence of any strain resistance to a given drug could spread easily across strains. Controlling the spread of disease is familiar in medicine and veterinary science, and any approach that limits the spread of microorganisms and infections will also providentially limit the spread of resistance. The single most effective technique for limiting the spread of disease in clinical settings like hospitals and nursing homes is instituting good hand hygiene practices. The positive impacts of hand washing and hand sanitizer use among healthcare workers are well established, and these practices have a broad effect on all infectious organisms, not just antibiotic resistant strains. On the downside, alcohol based hand sanitizers might strip away beneficial lipids from the surface of the skin, thus opening niches for pathogens and the potential for subsequent spread. Environment cleaning is another important technique for limiting the spread of pathogens, particularly spores. Rapid resistance testing is another weapon in the arsenal against resistance. A rapid screen for MRSA would be particularly useful since isolation precautions for MRSA infected patients can reduce the occurrence of secondary complications. Preventing a particular type of resistant infection from taking on pandemic proportions requires knowledge of the resistant gene involved. In hospitals and other healthcare environment, reducing the incidence of nosocomial infections will concomitantly reduce the spread of antibiotic resistance. Hand hygiene measures. Isolation of infectious patients requiring hospitals to report infection rates with the goal of motivating hospitals to take steps and link those rates to resistance mechanism and to antibiotics use. Withholding reimbursement of treating nosocomial infections, a step Medicare has already taken. Mandating the use of checklists for specific procedures to target transmission of pathogens from one patient to another. In developing countries, access to basic healthcare equipment and resources, including clean running water and ordinary sanitation, would help. Treating all effluent from hospitals and farms before releasing it to municipal wastewater facilities. Researching the possibility of inhibiting plasmid replication in resistant strains. Assigning novel compounds to research microbiologists to determine the potential mechanisms of resistance, so that if resistance does develop in the community or the environment, we will have a handle on the means of preventing its spread. Developing drugs to co-administer with antibiotics that prevent the development of resistance. Administering drugs that prevent interactions between pathogens and commensal organisms, which can bestow resistance on the pathogen by lateral transfer. Developing natural peptide toxins as antibiotics. Although low potency and manufacturing problems present difficulties on this path, peptide mimetics could help overcome some challenges. developing bacteriophages and their lytic enzymes as antibiotics. Investigating antibiotics contained in nanoparticles as methods of localized drug delivery, for example, through inhalation. Antibiotics are one of the most important therapeutic discoveries in the medical science. They have helped mankind in preventing and curing many diseases. However, now antibiotic resistance has increasingly become a problem. In this interaction, we have learned about various mechanisms of antimicrobial resistance and various techniques for containing resistance. I hope you are now clear about this topic.